All right, what's up guys? Gonna hop right into this video, make it directly to the point. It's my daily driver. It's 2011 Jetta Sportwagen TDI. If I'm not mistaken, all Mark 6 TDIs, this brake job should be the same one. But the reason that we're doing brakes is my fronts are warped. Long story short, they actually have, I think they're actually 2.5, 2.0, whatever, front rotors on the front, so they're actually smaller than what the TDI should have, and I'll show you guys the comparison. But first thing we want to do, there's a jack point underneath the rocker right here, which has an arrow to it. I'm going to get that up, and 5 lug nuts are 17 millimeters. Pull the wheel off, then we'll get into the brake caliper. So let me go ahead and take care of that, and then I'll show you guys the rest. Guys, something else I want to show. These Detroit axle kits, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them on eBay. I know there's like 1,000 cheap generic brands, but Detroit axle, you guys are trying to save a couple bucks. I have used them for quite some time. My brother's actually used them longer than me. He's the one that steered me onto them, but all their products are like really, really good and super, super affordable. So I have yet to have a bad experience with them. So if you guys are trying to look to save a couple bucks, this is what comes in the kit. It's going to be rotors, pads, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they even give you like, of course I'm not gonna be able to open this with one hand, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is like brake fluid, or not brake, yeah, I think it is brake fluid. And all right, I'm not trying to open that. I'm 90% sure that that's brake fluid and brake cleaner to clean off the rotors. All right, so see that I already have an Allen key in here. It's a metric 8, but you'll have little plastic dust covers on the back side of that. And then this will just slide in there. If you have a T-handle, it'll probably help you out a little bit as far as like getting grip. But if you don't have grip, the old trick of using a wrench on the end of that to get that out will definitely help you. But that is what I'm going to do right now to get this out. And then once I get that off, then I'll be able to actually remove the caliper, which I'm pretty sure these have pistons in them that you actually have to have a special brake tool that actually spins the brake caliper back in instead of actually just being able to close it with a C-clamp. But let me go ahead and loosen these. This is driver's side, guys, so if you don't know lefty loosey, I'm going to be going up. So let me get this off and show you guys. All right, guys, so I have the brake caliper up. I lied, by the way. These are 7 millimeter. I guess I had my Allen key in the wrong spot whenever I was rotating these out. You don't have to take them all the way out unless you want to. You just have to rotate them far enough to get the rotor out of the way. So the reason I tell you guys that this is a smaller rotor, so these are definitely TDI pads. See how it's only wearing a certain part of the rotor down, and then that top part, it's because the diameter of these rotors are smaller than an actual TDI. So can you run a 2.0 rotor? You can, not recommended. So I lied also, this is not a spin style piston in your caliper, so I'll be able to just set an old brake pad on here with a C-clamp and be able to compress that piston all the way in. And I will compare these rotors to the other ones because you guys want to make sure that you have the right stuff before you're putting it back on. So I'll compare these two side by side and show you guys, and let's get some new pads on. Okay. Obviously there's a difference in the size. I'm not sure. I think this is considered a 280 millimeter rotor, and this is a 312 millimeter. So that box that I couldn't get open earlier, you know, it had the brake cleaner and stuff in it. So these oils that they put on these rotors like this are just so that they don't rust when they like set on the shelves or however long it would take to go out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rag and brake cleaner and go around this really well to get all that oil off, because you don't want that on your brake pads. All right, guys, so because of how small the rotor was, I actually didn't have to take the bracket off. I took it off in the video. I took it off without recording, but there's 21 millimeter here and a 21 here, and that's what the bracket looks like. Due to the fact how small that 2.0 rotor was, I actually didn't even have to take that off. I was like, man, I feel like I'm getting to this really easy. But anyway, now that I have that rotor off, I'll be able to set this one on. I highly recommend having a set screw. I do not have one, but it's going to help keep that rotor in place. You can buy them relatively cheap, or you can just do what I'm about to do and not have that, but I'd recommend getting one if you can. All right, so going back together, guys, this is how we should be looking. Holes should be lined up. 21mm bracket going back on. All right, and one of the last steps before we put the caliper back on, using an old brake pad, make sure you're not using your new ones. You're gonna press it against that piston with a little C-clamp like this. I wish I had a phone holder to show you guys, but you're obviously just gonna keep pushing this piston in until it is flush inside of there. And once it is flush, then you'll be able to reinstall with your new brake pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that. And once I get this compressed the whole way, I'll show you guys what that looks like, and then the brake pads, and we should be done. And hopefully this video saved you guys a lot of money, because dealerships and other companies want a lot of money for brake jobs for whatever reason, and they're very, very simple. All right, guys, so it's done. One thing I wanted to mention, actually, let me stop the video so I can turn on. All right, there we go. One thing I wanted to mention, these sliders here, I highly recommend putting anti-seize in these. This one was like pretty grimy, and make sure you clean them out. The sliders will just push out, but I put anti-seize in these just to make sure that they're sliding in there correctly and they're not getting built up. My bottom one was like very free. My top one needed a little bit of persuasion, so I took them out and put some anti-seize. But here's the end result, guys. It's a super, super easy process. I know my phone died, so it missed some stuff, and if you're worried about like all the dirt and stuff that's on there, as soon as you take it for a drive, you should bed the brakes. And what that means is you should stomp on the brakes pretty much from like a 20, go up to a 35, do the same thing, and then to a 40, and then the brakes should be bedded. At least that's how I was always taught. So yeah, end job. If you guys have any questions, comments, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Obviously not going to record it. Actually, while I'm here, this is kind of a little topic here. So this brake wear sensor, you guys probably seen my wires were off. If you guys take this brake wear sensor, this plugs into your actual pads themselves. This was broke when I got the car. If you tie these two wires together, now obviously this needs taped up, but if you tie these two wires together, you will not have a brake light on in your dash. So just tie those two together. All it is a wear sensor. To do this goes all the way up in there, and that is not something that I was willing to do on a beater. I guess I could have spliced it right here and wired in a new one. I didn't want to do that. So if you guys have any questions, comment below, guys, and until next time, support those who support you. Peace.